So today I'd like to speak about why gear does not define your photography and how I came to this conclusion. For the past 10 years I noticed that I was getting a little bit obsessed with gear. I was spending my days on sites like MBP. I noticed I was just looking at all this excitement and all this exciting equipment. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to try new equipment, but it was getting a little bit too much, and I think I was suffering from the proverbial gear acquisition syndrome, or GAS. Before that, when I was a young adult and then a young student for 10 years, I always used the same film camera, which was a Canon EOS 300X. And it was nothing special by today's standards, but I really liked it. It was light because it was all made of plastic, but still good enough quality. I paired it with a simple zoom lens, and so I was able to take it on my many hikes, on my climbing, on the traveling I did, and the hiking I did in South America and in Nepal later. And I used it with Fujifilm Sensia, what's it called, slide film, and that was great. I was able to take some beautiful pictures, nothing too special by today's standards, but the Sensia film just made it look quite nice, and I was very happy with my camera. It was nothing special. I was always using the same kind of equipment, and it did the job. Also, not having any money at the time would have made it difficult to buy anything else, so the question never really came up. Then fast forward a few years, I started working, and suddenly I had a little bit more money, but no time whatsoever anymore. So I believe this built up a certain frustration, which meant that I wasn't able to go to the mountains anymore so often compared to before. I wasn't able to take so many pictures anymore, and I was feeling a little bit frustrated. I think there's something psychological going on with gear acquisition syndrome. And basically, instead of making a real effort and going out at the weekends and concentrating on my vision, concentrating on taking more pictures, concentrating on going hiking, what I did was that during the week, when I did have the time and I was sitting at a desk, maybe feeling a little bit bored from time to time, I started looking at these websites and dreaming and thinking, somehow, if I just had another camera, well, that's when I would suddenly feel motivated and find the energy again to go out and take pictures like I did when I was a student. So I think there was a little bit of nostalgia going on as well. So around 2013, I bought myself my first full-frame DSLR, which was a Nikon D800. I really liked this camera, even though at the beginning it took me a little while to get used to it because it was very different from a film camera, obviously. And I don't know, I was just not used to it yet. But very quickly I started to like it, and I used it for my landscape photography in the mountains. I still didn't have enough time, but it was a time when I was in a better place. I made the effort to go hiking, to get up early for sunrise, and I got some really nice photos that I really like from that time. So I used this camera for quite a few years, I believe, almost 10 years, maybe more like 7 or 8 years, until it's quite interesting actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, all started to go wrong as COVID hit, when the pandemic started, and we were not able to go outside anymore. We were not able to go and take pictures, and I started to spend my days looking at those camera websites. And that's when suddenly I had the feeling that my Nikon D800 was too old and not capable enough. I had the feeling that I absolutely needed IBIS, even though my camera was on a tripod 90% of the time. And I sold it, and it really hurts me, not straight away, but a few months later I realized, I don't know if that was such a good idea to sell it. But in any case, that's when it all kicked off. I wasn't in such a good place. I wasn't able to go outside. I was feeling really a lot of pent-up energy. And instead of doing, I don't know, yoga or whatever, I started to look at those websites, and I bought myself I don't remember exactly in which order. I bought myself a Sony a7 III. I bought myself Sony a7R2. I bought myself. It just hurts to think back because some of the cameras that I tried and sold again would have been absolutely perfect, would have been really nice cameras if I just stuck to them. I don't know what it was. There was always something small that another camera would do better, or that I believed would change everything. And the problem is that when you do that, when you buy equipment and sell your old equipment, it's super expensive. I couldn't believe the cost, I'm working pretty hard, but all the money I was earning was going into equipment, and explain that to the family as well, wasn't great at all. So at some point I bought myself this camera here, which is a Fujifilm X-H1. You may have noticed the price of the cameras I was buying was slowly going down because I couldn't afford the very expensive ones anymore. And when I bought this one, whatever the reason, I don't even want to think back about why I thought that it was appropriate to buy this one. I just thought, stop. Now I'm not buying anything else anymore. I'm just going to use this camera. It could have been any other camera, but I thought I really need to stop it. I need to stop thinking about gear, and I need to concentrate on actual photography. I need to go out into the world, think about what truly matters, And the timing of when I bought this camera was quite good, because just afterwards we went to England for a family holiday, and I spent an afternoon taking photos of puffins, which I always said were my favorite birds, and I'd never been able to see them before. So that was really beautiful. I took my son with me as well on the boat trip. He had his little old camera, so I had this really nice time taking pictures of the birds during the afternoon, and this kind of showed me what was important in photography. It reminded me of what I should have known all along, and that's that it's the experience that counts. And I believe I realized that all the cameras that I'd bought over the years and all the money that I had wasted was due not because I really needed anything material, but because there was a lot of frustration that had formed. I did not have as much time. I was working a lot. I was quite busy. And just didn't have time for my hobbies anymore. I was feeling nostalgic about the good old time when I was able to go to the mountains and spend a lot of time taking pictures, camping, all of that. And I realized, okay, even if you're busy, doesn't mean that you can't go out and take pictures. Doesn't mean that you can't live your life, live your hobby, at least to a certain extent, Because you can just wait and be disappointed, or you can be proactive. So that's what I did. I just accepted that from time to time I was too busy to do much, to take photos. But my camera was there. It was waiting for me for the times when I was able to go out. And at the same time, when I wasn't feeling too tired, I started making an effort, going out more often. And bit by bit, things started to get better. And I believe it's also because I decided to hang on to the equipment. I suddenly realized that I loved black and white photography. I suddenly realized that I was really interested in art photography. I started to listen to podcasts. I started to, look at actual photographers online, people like Todd Heido that I'd never heard about before. And then at some point I started to take pictures with the film simulations and discovered my love for black and white. And I realized I should have known that all along, because in the past I'd often taken pictures in black and white. When I was a child, one of my first memories about photography was how I was in the dark room with my dad and smelling the smells of the chemicals in there and seeing the first image slowly come to life on the white photographic paper, things like that. And I thought, well, that's where passion comes from, So of course, like, I'm not saying that camera gear is not important at all. That's fine, but you have to, take like little compartments or whatever you call it, little bits. Like this is for gear maybe, and then this is for vision, photography, and all the rest. So just put on a timer, an imaginary timer, whatever. Don't let this here, the gear, take over all your time. So once I started to think more about things like vision, about the actual photography, about concepts as well, because that's something that I hadn't had time really to think about beforehand, I really started to find my love for photography again. And once I was loving it again, I realized that it doesn't matter if I'm not able to take pictures every day. It doesn't matter which kind of camera I've got. What matters is the photography, the love, the passion that you have for it. Yeah, and I think my takeaway for you is that if you're in the same place as I was just 3-4 years ago, and mainly interested in the gear, then maybe think about it a little bit. It's okay. Maybe you're interested in gear. Maybe you're a gearhead. Maybe you're interested in technology. I think a lot of people are like that. Mainly more men than women. I don't know. Don't want to speculate on that too much. But for me, I knew that I would be very disappointed one day if I woke up and realized that all I had done was care about the gear and not about the photography itself. So if you find yourself stuck a little bit like me 3 years ago, thinking all the time about gear and reading gear review articles, then I really hope that this video will have been useful for you. I wish for you to be able to go out and take photos more often. Most of all, to stop having these feelings of frustrations that you may feel when you're thinking about photography, because it's a beautiful hobby and we should do it for ourselves. We shouldn't feel like we're doing everything wrong, we're wasting our time, we're wasting our money. At some point, I really hope for you too to be able to get to a point where you're loving it again. And if it's gear that you love, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, I'm not judging anyone. That's absolutely fine. It's just that I know that for myself, I was interested in something else. So with that said, let me know in the comments how you feel about gear. If you love gear, that's okay. Just let me know. I'm interested in that. And if you felt stuck in the past, what helped you to move on, to carry on? Maybe you can exchange a little bit and let each other know what worked for us. I'm really interested in that as well, because I believe that I've not reached any destination. These are just my thoughts and what worked for me so far. So with that said, I wish you a very beautiful day and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.